Hello, everybody, and welcome to our energy update for November 27th through to December 4th. We have quite a few themes for this week that are super amazing and I feel like are really going to help kickstart us in the right direction. So we have a few to start. So we have spirit guide communication, increased support, speaking our truth, radical honesty, how to show up, releasing, surrendering and manifestation, preparations for leveling up, psychic downloads and increased awareness. We have celebration and success, wishes coming true, releasing and facing fears, gaining their hidden knowledge, and trusting ourselves. So we have quite the week. I feel like there's so much that I want to go into that was really coming through. But initially when I was sitting down to meditate, there was a lot about angel numbers, assistance, especially from our guides at this time. And we were really needing to have that awareness this week to utilize that support, to utilize that help. And I feel like this is a theme that's been coming up really strongly the past few weeks for us to really adjust our lives, to help us through these great transitions, and to really make sure that we're calling in the guidance we need, calling in the assistance and support we need. And we've been having so much around learning how to live life in a graceful way, where we're no longer battling, we're no longer feeling like we need to consistently fight for success, fight for, whatever it is we're moving towards in life. And it's like recognizing that we have the assistance, and it's okay and it's healthy and it's wonderful to have that support and to call on it and utilize it. So this week we have some really amazing guides that are coming forward, and I was seeing the number 33 a lot. So 33 is an amazing number for our ascended masters, and I feel like their presence is very strong this week. So really take advantage of those who have gone through this earthly existence and can relate. And with that, if you're unsure of who the ascended masters are, in a nutshell, they are beautiful, highly enlightened beings who have actually had a life and have incarnated here on earth in the past, and were able to reach such a high spiritual enlightenment that they were able to ascend to the spirit state, so to the soul state, to that ascended state of consciousness. And with that, we can use the examples of Christ, right, who actually lived a human existence, could relate with our human experience, and was able to achieve that sort of spiritual mastery that he was able to ascend to that state of consciousness. And so we have quite a few different ascended masters that are available to help us this week. And so it's really allowing ourselves to gain greater understanding of who they are, who to call on when we're in need, and even just opening up to having that conversation with them, having that engagement. And it can be as simple as what I'm hearing is it can be as simple as just inviting them in. So thank you, divine ascended masters, for being willing to help me this week, through helping me through any challenge and circumstance. I appreciate your higher knowledge and wisdom, and I am open to receive it now. And it's like something simple like that you can do every single day that opens up that awareness and opens up that opportunity for them to truly help you and guide you. And this goes for our angels, this goes for our spirit guides, this goes for spirit in general. So really be mindful of utilizing that support this week. And very strong highlight on angel numbers. So I was seeing a lot of numbers this week. So be very mindful. License plates that you see, numbers on your receipts, any numbers on the clock that you just happen to look at and they strike you, look them up. I'm hearing they're all very relevant this week. So be mindful of your angels and how they are sending you signals and messages, even in those very unlikely of ways that we sometimes forget to really take a look at. So I'm hearing that is a very strong way that they're going to be communicating. Also feathers, seeing feathers be relevant as well. So if you find a feather, if you see a feather, be mindful that is your angels letting you know that they're here to support you. So beautiful week for this increased support. And what I wrote here was this support is helping us break through barriers and find relief. Okay, so this was very interesting because I'm seeing a lot of shadow aspects be highlighted this week for us to dive a little deeper into. So I'm seeing a lot of us become more illuminated to what's been holding us back, what's been making us feel afraid, why these things have been surfacing for us. I'm seeing a lot of us work through triggers this week as well, which we're going to go deeper into. But with that, it's like allowing ourselves to really work through them. And I'm seeing a lot of us really take that time to dedicatedly do this. So have that awareness when things come up this week. Be very mindful. Where has this been a repetitive pattern for me? Has this been something that has been on my mind? Really be mindful of where and why these things might be occurring in your life, and really go a little deeper into that introspective work this week. And know you're not alone in facing these fears. Know you're not alone in diving deeper. And I'm really hearing set those intentions to have what needs to be revealed come to light, because another strong theme that's coming in this week is our ego really trying to sabotage us and really trying hard to keep hidden what needs to be healed, what needs to be exposed. So be very mindful, where have I been hiding the truth from myself? A lot of us are unaware of that because the ego steps in as our fierce protector. It doesn't want us to face sometimes the hard truth of a situation, the hard truth of what perhaps we've been doing. And it's like really this week we're being very guided to dip into that honest introspection and really owning where we perhaps have been sabotaging ourselves, where we've been placing blame outside of ourselves, when really we need to look internally at where we're needing adjustment, and really being honest about that, not blaming ourselves or laying ourselves in guilt with that, but allowing the truth to come through so we can make those course corrections of where we've been holding back, where we've been hindered, and bringing those shadow aspects to light. Okay, so what I wrote here was, from the darkness comes the light. So I heard this very strongly come through. We're getting this illumination. They're shining a light on these shadow parts, these shadow aspects. And we have a lot to do with the divine masculine this week. We have a lot to do even astrologically about the father wound. So be very mindful. What is your relationship with your father? What is your relationship with the divine masculine energy? And what is coming forward for healing? Okay, so we're having a little bit of this switch up from last week to this week. We had such a highlight on the divine feminine last week, and now it's like, okay, now let's focus on balancing and harmonizing these energies and really coming to this understanding of the sacred masculine side of ourselves as well. So the doer, the protector, so really being mindful of that in yourself as well. So what I wrote next was very interesting. We had the word asphyxiation. I can't even say it, sorry. Asphyxiation. So with that, it's like where we, what they kind of showed me here was a hand over the throat. So where are we suffocating ourselves? Where are we literally cutting ourselves off from truth, from speaking our truth, from allowing ourselves to express ourselves to the full degree. Okay, this was really strong, that really wanted to come through. So with that, really being mindful, is there anywhere that I'm struggling to speak? Is there anywhere that I need to be more mindful of my truth? And what I really wrote here, it's like, it's time to just be honest, to say it like it is. Honor your voice and what needs to be said now. So has there been anything coming up that's been irking you lately? Has there been any triggers that have been really showing you that anger, that frustration, and where we need to just express that, okay? And what I'm hearing, it's like in a healthful, balanced way. So if you're really frustrated right now, if you're angry, if you're having these struggles that have been visiting you lately, it's like, how can I be honest enough to admit that I'm feeling this way? How can I remove the hand that's suffocating me and just freely feel how I feel? And how can I honor and express my truth in a way that's in alignment with who I am? So I am seeing some conversations take place, but more so I'm feeling the energy of just honoring it. So with that, it's like, do some journaling this week, do some mindful introspection and meditation, perhaps to once again reveal to you what the ego might have been hiding from you. So once again, ask for help. Allow other healers, other practitioners to help you. We might see things that you don't see. I'm seeing us ask our partners, a trusted friend, be like, okay, do you see any of these negative patterns in myself? Do you see where I'm holding back? Can you just blatantly tell me my blind spots? And I'm just really hearing these healthy conversations are going to be very, very helpful. The other thing I'm seeing is past life karmic energy here as well. That's really magnified this week. So sometimes it's hard for us to really see the truth of things, especially with karmic energy, because we haven't figured out what in this life, in this incarnation, perhaps is bringing this cycle forward. So if there's been a repeat of negative cycles or a repeat of certain things that you're just struggling to really let go and you just can't get to the bottom of it, if you feel like you're missing that information, really be mindful. Could this be karmic? Could this be from another life that's coming forward to heal? And set the intention to be shown what that is. So I'm really hearing for a lot of us, we need to have that mindful awareness of those triggers that come through and recognizing where this is an energy that's ready to be released and to be honored and let go. I'm really feeling there's some deeply emotional connections there. So really be gentle with yourself this week. Really be mindful of those energies and how you can lovingly comfort them, okay? Because I'm really hearing some of these energies, they're with us in this incarnation. So it's like, how can I lovingly embrace that energy that is a part of me at this time, and how can I set it free? How can I make it feel safe to set it free? Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of mindful meditation. I'm seeing a lot of inner talk, having that conversation with that energy, learning what it is you need to learn from that energy so you can set it free. Okay, now this is quite deep. So if this is something new to you, get help, okay? Find a practitioner, find someone who can help walk you through this, because I'm hearing, why make it hard? And so I'm really hearing, it's like, if this is hard, if this is like, I just can't get it on my own, this is where help is needed, my friends. So set those intentions with your guides to reveal what it is that needs to be revealed before you meditate, before you go to bed, or seek out a practitioner. Really listen to your intuition. Where can I ask for more help? How can I let myself live a life of ease and grace? And how can I put myself first in this instance? Okay. So once again, if you're struggling, ask for assistance. So really cool. So moving forward with this theme of speaking the truth and really honoring our truth, I'm seeing a lot of us go into our past this week. So where have we been rehashing the past? Where do we need to, express how we feel over those things that we've experienced? And with that, I'm seeing some of us almost do like a bit of a life review where it's like, what still hurts from my past? What still feels frustrating? And what still is unjust about what I went through? And where am I still holding on to those emotions that really are needing to be honored and released now? So if you can, I'm hearing a life review is extremely crucial this week. So where in your past do you need to honor that hurt? And really go with, what's the first thing you think of? When you're like, okay, I'm angry. It's like, well, why? Where did this anger come from? Go with the first thing that comes to your mind. Oh, I'm still angry about that. I'm still pissed off, excuse my language. I'm still upset about this that happened even 20 years ago, and if that's the case, honor it. Be like, okay, I'm still pissed. I'm still upset. And so it's like honoring those things, because I'm really seeing these things really rise up this week, and especially addressing that father and sacred masculine energy this week. It's like, okay, where did we feel suppressed in that energy? So wow, this is really coming through strongly here. So this might be for a specific person, or just a select few of you, but what they're really showing me is some of you feeling like you couldn't speak to your father. You couldn't express how you felt with your father. Very strong energy here of, I can't cry, I can't be raw and vulnerable because dad doesn't work that way, or dad's unemotional, or dad can't hear what I have to say or understand. There's definitely a few of us that are going through that, and it's like right now that's wanting to be healed. Okay, so where do you need to express yourself? How can you comfort yourself and know it's okay now to express who you are and be vulnerable, to cry? That's very strongly coming through. So if you grew up in a home where your father was emotionally unavailable, or you felt that way, the throat chakra this week is super highlighted with honoring how that's, how you felt with that, and where you held back, where you've been still stifling your emotions and yourself, where this is needing to be purged and expressed and honored now. And as we shift into this new version of self that we've been diligently building this past few weeks, few months, even year or more, it's like, how do I want to move forward now? How can I honor the sacred masculine within myself, and recognize that sometimes that stigma that we place on the male energy and males in general, or however you identify that, it's, they can't have emotions, they can't feel, they need to be manly, they need to be this. It's like, how can I break free of perhaps those stigmas that were actually taught to me, even as a different energy, even as a different person? How have I adopted that stigma into my relationships with the male energy in general in my life? And where have I been stifling my emotions because it didn't feel right? Okay, so I'm seeing some of us that be very specific message. So really go into that. Where have I taught myself, or where did I see that example taught to me from my own family, from my own father, that it wasn't safe for me to be vulnerable, that it's not okay for me to have emotions and express them? Okay, and with that, I'm seeing the hand be removed from the throat. So very powerful. Go into that. How can I be more myself? So with that, they're saying when you're working with these energies, they can be very heavy, they can be very deep, they can be hard sometimes for us to dive into. So this week, please balance this energy out, okay? So they're really giving us practical advice when we're working with the shadow aspects. Don't forget to return to a space of love and joy, okay? Just because we're analyzing these things, just because we're going in deep, doesn't mean we need to stay there, and they're saying honor those feelings, feel them, but remember to come back to yourself. Come back to what comforts you, to what brings you love and happiness again, to raise those vibrations. And I'm seeing sometimes we could get caught up and allow those doom and gloom feelings and emotions to swallow us whole past their due. So with that, if you find yourself really struggling, what can you do? What action can you take to change the energy again back to joy? Okay, so do what you need to do to reclaim your peace and reclaim your joy this week as well. Okay. So then we have this radical honesty, this theme that's we've kind of touched on. But what I want to rate or say here is assess really what you feel and allow time for contemplation. So with this, we've touched on this a bit, but do we really allow ourselves the time to do that exploration of self. Okay, so we've had this advice to work with the sacred masculine this week, to journal, to meditate. Okay, and this week we're being urged to prioritize that time. Okay, so where in your schedule can you create more time for this? And how can you put yourself first and demonstrate that in action this week? Okay, and what they're really saying is we need to be honest. What is it I'm feeling? What is ready to be let go for good? Okay, I'm also feeling a lot of energies of frustration and anger that's going to be coming through this week for us. So it's like, what is truly bothering you? If you're being triggered, allow that space for exploration of that. Why is this triggering me? How has this been showing me what's been neglected within myself and what needs more honoring, more awareness? So I wrote, honor your anger and frustrations. What's bothering you truly? Assess recent triggers and allow the space for expansion. How can you truly show up for you now in your life? Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of these triggers really take place in our relationships, and you might find this emphasis on the masculine. Okay, so with that, I'm seeing us be triggered in these relationships and really seeing this awareness of where people have really shown up, where have people not, and also what we're deserving of now, okay? Because a lot of times when we explore the masculine energy, and there's so much to this, but a lot of times we put the male role as the protector, as the rock, as the strength, right? And that's typically how we view male energy. And with that, it's like, where has that energy not been held for you? And I'm seeing this anger for a lot of us kind of surround this scenario. So it's like, where have people not shown up? Where have people not been that rock for you? Where have people not been, there? Where have you not been protected? Where have you been exposed? Where have you felt vulnerable? Where has that injustice been? And distrust, okay? These are themes to really discover this week and to really deep dive into. And they're really saying, bring this awareness to blame. So where am I blaming others? And where do I need to now take responsibility? So they're kind of showing me where we've ourselves partook in that energy, where we've allowed it to happen, where we've embraced relationships that are not worthy of us, and we've accepted bad behavior. And they're saying we need to own this. We need to own that part of ourselves that felt we needed that treatment. And I'm hearing we need to honor how we've learned and we've grown from that space. We needed to be in that space, but now we need to take responsibility and remove ourselves from that now. So really assess your relationships. What relationships are unworthy of you? Where have you been partaking and still partaking in things, people, events that are really unhealthy for you? And it's like, cut it off. It's time to go, okay? Very strong message here. Let go of what is no longer serving you, of what is no longer healthy, what is toxic for your new self, okay? It's time to take the actions to claim what it is we deserve now. And as we take the action, when we work with the sacred masculine of the doer, we're clearing the way ahead. Okay, so we don't have to repeat the cycle. So be very mindful. Where am I still allowing bad behavior in my life? Where do I need to perhaps speak my piece and say, no, I'm not allowing this anymore. I'm done. Where do we need to cut off toxicities? Okay, so really show up for yourself this week and release relationships that are unworthy of you. So what I wrote here was, what do you deserve now? Clear the slate and let go. And this was so cool because when we do this, a lot of times it can be very emotional for us. It can be difficult for us. It can be a struggle, especially if you're someone you haven't been able to do this in the past. And if it's hard when we're conflicted because we still love perhaps that person or situation, and there's part of us that wants to people please, right? This can be really hard. But with that, it's like really honor that, but then come to this understanding that anything we let go allows us to see what stays. So I love this so much. It said, let everything go and see what stays. What is meant for you will always be meant for you, right? So it really puts things in perspective for us that the people who are really in our corner, the love that we rightfully deserve is always going to be there for us. It's always going to be meant for us. And even if it doesn't show up in the people we want it to or the situations we want it to, it's still going to come from another source because that's what we're deserving of. And when we claim that right and we claim that divine right for ourselves, that allows that energy to come in even quicker. So don't be afraid of what you will lose. Focus on what you're gaining. So a very strong message from that and carrying through from last week. Don't get hung up on the loss, okay? So really be mindful. What losses am I too focused on, and where do I need to remember that what is meant for me will always be? So I wrote from here, take a bold step forward and rest, knowing everything is in hand. Surrender and let the universe provide results. So this is now moving into our manifestations and surrender theme here, which is so beautiful because I'm seeing last week as a lot of us do a lot of that manifesting and a lot of that visualization and intention and putting out our hopes and desires and dreams to the universe. And so this week, we're really getting this amazing message that your prayers have been heard, okay? So now we take that next step. Now that we've put in the action, now that we've set those intentions, now that we've spoken that to the universe, trust that it is done, okay? So we're really needing to let go now and let the universe do the rest. So allow yourself to rest in that comfort and that knowing and that understanding. So we have manifestations have been heard. Rest easy. The hard work is done. And with this, I'm seeing this beautiful upgrade in a lot of our energy this week where we're being prepped. We're being prepped for what we're inviting in now. So don't be afraid and don't be surprised if changes start to swiftly happen this week, because I'm really seeing this upgrading of our energy where it's like, okay, now that I'm letting go, I've created space, I've set new intentions, I'm ready for new. It's like now we need to shift further and further and higher into those vibrations that support the new things we're trying to bring forward, okay? So the angels, our guides, are all working with us to elevate our energies so we can really welcome in what's ready for us now, okay? So I said preparations are now in order to help you level up and truly materialize the next stage of your life. Focus on all that raises your vibration. Clear, cancel, and delete vibrations that do not support you. So when we go through this period of anger and frustration, when we let that out, let it go, okay? Because I'm hearing we don't want to hold on to these lingering emotions and feelings that could now sabotage what we're trying to bring in. So really clear, cancel, and delete any negative energies that we've perhaps expressed, got out, and put out into the universe. We want to clear that. So how you can do that is simply asking your angels with that request. Thank you, angels, for clearing, canceling, and deleting any negative energies that are sabotaging my growth. Thank you. It's as simple as that, trusting it is done. And when we're struggling to let go of other people's energies as well, because I'm seeing us take on a lot of other energy that's not our own, remember to do clearing, okay? So sage yourself. That was very strong visual that I got for us this week. Sage, clear, and really do what you need to do to keep your aura clean, okay? With this, we move into our next theme of psychic downloads and increased awareness. So with this, I'm really getting these powerful feelings of bringing forward what's next. Okay, so a lot of us don't be surprised if you start getting these downloads, if you start having dreams, if you start getting visuals of you doing something in the future, of your next steps. I'm seeing the third eye very active this week, and allowing those things to integrate and land, like, okay, this is coming through for me, this is what's next for me, and trusting your intuition there. Okay, and with that, I'm seeing make plans and get excited for the future. So we come from this heavy energy of shadow work, and it's like, okay, now let's remember that we have things to look forward to. This isn't going to be an energy that I'm going to retain forever. This is only temporary. These heavy feelings, these heavy situations, this is temporary. And they're really highlighting that word temporary. Don't forget the big picture of your life and what beauty is coming in, what is to come, okay? Don't lose your excitement. Don't lose your joy. So really, really strong message. So with this, get making plans and get excited for life. Life is beautiful at last. And it was funny that when this came in, it was like, life is beautiful at last. I was kind of like, oh, well, isn't life always beautiful? And they're like, yes, but now we're starting to see it that way. Okay. And what was so cool is I'm seeing this shift in our consciousness, in how our brain function, how we've been wired societally, how we've been wired from our family, these programs. And I'm seeing this unlearning that's taking place, where it's like, oh, I'm unlearning to be negative. I'm unlearning these perceptions and things that have kept me small, that have kept me from my greatness, from expressing myself, from seeing the beauty of myself and the world, okay? And we're getting rid of these programs. It's amazing. So what I wrote here was shifts in consciousness and awareness, retraining the brain to accept love and to be open to receptivity, this giving and receiving in balance. So once again, we return to this theme of ease and grace. We're learning that life doesn't have to be hard work. We're learning that we don't always have to be dwelling in the negative. We're learning that there's beauty that we can find in every single moment. And we're learning to embrace that, to be grateful for it. And we're taking responsibility now of how we live life, how we view life. And we can control what we believe and what we don't. So it's really amazing. This is really surfacing this week. And I'm seeing this balance of, we're also coming to the understanding that, especially if you're known to be the caregiver, that you deserve to receive too. And that was so beautiful. That was really coming through in these manifestations. We're seeing this deservingness that's settling in now, where it's like, right, I deserve to have a good life too. I deserve to be taken care of too. I deserve wealth. I deserve, beauty. And we're claiming that. It's absolutely stunning. So with that, we might get some illumination to what is left to harmonize, okay? So what can I bring more ease and grace to in my life? What feels right? And how can I begin to act on my intuition, okay? So really important to assess, okay, where am I still stifling or holding back my ability to receive? And they're showing me the heart space here. So is our heart space really open to receive what we've been asking for? And we are getting these uploads, we are getting these downloads, this upgrading in energy. But that being said, are we willing? Okay, so they're really asking us to honestly assess this. Are you willing to receive now? Are there still parts of you that are in resistance? And if so, how can we start bringing these parts of ourselves more on board? And so once again, we're reminded of the shadow work, to do the introspection, to invite the fears that come up with this. So as an example, if you're visualizing your dream life and you're having a hard time picturing it, or you're picturing it, but other fears come forward, like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Can I do this? And, all these little things, any of these stories that come up with this exercise, they're really saying, take note of and really address why you're fearful, what these fears are trying to tell you. Okay, so once more, really being aware of when we're triggered, aware of what's rising in us right now, and what might be hindering us from receiving what we truly deserve in life. So once again, allow yourself to bring to harmony any of these things that are left that are coming forward for healing. And it's like, how can I show up for myself? And how can I allow more of this ease and grace to come forward for me? And what I'm really hearing too is, with this theme of honesty that we've been discussing, what feels right for you and how can you honestly honor that? You know, sometimes we have this tendency, I want to say, where it's like we allow others to kind of make decisions for us. And sometimes that can look like as simple as being invited to a family dinner or a big event or something you feel a lot of pressure you have to attend because, well, you should. Okay, so we'll use that example. And with that, it's like, but if you know that it doesn't feel good and intuitively you're like, there's something that's holding me back from really wanting to do this, it's like, really assess that and listen to that. What does feel right for you? You know, if you're being told you need to rest, you need to allow yourself to integrate, this isn't going to be good for you tonight, it's like, allow yourself to honor that and really be honest with yourself and go, okay, where am I trying to bulldoze myself into doing things I really no longer want to do? Or straight up, I just don't feel good to do it. And it's like, honor that. Even in those little things, how are you showing up? And how can you free yourself from the conditions that say you need to do something? And it's like, once again, we're the parent of our own life now. We're allowed to make our own decisions, even if others don't understand them. And it's like claiming the right to be yourself and claiming the right to choose what's right for you. And I'm really hearing a lot of us have been neglecting how we feel in the understanding that we need to move forward with what's logical. So really get in touch with your heart this week. What feels right for me? And how can I begin to act more on my intuitive promptings, more on what feels right to me in my heart space? Okay, so trust and surrender. Remember to celebrate your wins this week and really allow yourself to be grateful for all that you've come through and all that you're doing. Okay, this was another beautiful theme that I wanted to present, is this theme of celebrating. How can you celebrate how far you've come? How can you celebrate life and the beauty that's being exposed to you now? And how can you really welcome that in? And they're even saying celebrate the endings in your life and the beginnings of something new. Okay. And with this, I'm seeing a lot of wishes being fulfilled. I'm seeing a star. So it's like really breaking free to shine our light. And we're needing to bolster this belief in ourselves and trust that everything we've been doing is helping us manifest the dreams we truly want to bring forward. And I'm hearing it is done. So release control this week. Really listen to what lights you up. Do what is in alignment with you, what you feel right, and do what you love, not what you think and think you should do. Allow yourself to express yourself, to claim what you are deserving of now. And be brave and listen to what your heart wants to share. Listen to the fears and what they want to share, and really uncover that hidden knowledge this week, because I'm seeing so much come to light. Okay? So trust yourselves, my friends. Stop bypassing and avoiding what's been coming forward for you, and really move forward in that confidence that all is well. All right, so beautiful week that's coming through for us. I feel like we have so much that's going to be coming through to help us to really release what no longer serves. So that being said, I want to pull us an angel number to end our reading. So 124. We have, your angels are reminding you never to think of anyone or anything as more spiritual or more connected than you are. Reclaim your holiness. Ooh, that's an interesting one. So with that, a very specific message here to not compare this week as well. So that's really coming forward with this. This is cool. So with that, remind yourself that you're worthy. Remind yourself of your divinity, of your power. Okay, so with this, what a beautiful side message to end this with. It's like, reclaim your holiness, reclaim your sanctity, reclaim all of you. And I'm seeing this really help us propel forward. And it's so cool. It's like, so really release any feelings of inadequacy, because what they're kind of telling me now, it's like back to when we were chatting a bit about meditation and getting help. Yes, absolutely. But don't forget your innate power as well. Don't forget your ability to commune with your guides and having them listen, okay? Because I'm seeing some of us go, well, I'm not worthy of that. I don't know how. I don't know what to do. It's like, release those feelings of inadequacy this week, okay? Really trust that you are powerful, that you can take these challenges head on, and know that the universe is listening. Know that the universe is backing you 100%. And I feel called to talk a little bit about something that really resonated with me the past few weeks. And I was having this conversation with my guides, and I was meditating, and it was really interesting. What really came through for me was the word service. And a lot of times we can think of that word as, a little bit like, ooh, that means I have to serve somebody. And sometimes we can view that word in more of a negative light. We think of slavery, we think of not meeting our needs perhaps. And a lot of us light workers, it's like, I'm just so done serving everybody but myself, right? But what's so interesting as well with this, we forget that our guides serve us. And what's the word I'm looking for? Like, allowing ourselves to open our minds and hearts to new understandings and perspectives of what that means. And it's like, okay, so our guides, who we put a lot of times well above ourselves, we think they're so much higher than us. They're so much more spiritually advanced. We put them on this pedestal, right? And they're saying there's nothing wrong with thinking that way. But what they're saying is, we're serving you. We're still helping you. We're equals. And that's the understanding we need to start coming to, is you are just as beautiful, just as capable, just as spiritual and divine as your guides. And I'm seeing this really come in this week to help us understand and accept the help that's given to us, and without feeling inadequate, without feeling unworthy of it. And so I love that this is coming through. So with that, it's like really analyze your own perspectives of service and your guides, and where you're making comparisons or where you're putting others over yourself. And really be mindful of that this week. Really respect how you are just as capable. You are just as deserving, and really coming to that understanding of what that looks like and what that can be for you. So claiming that power. Big highlight on the solar plexus, they're showing me the sun. So yeah, claiming that power, claiming that inner fire and flame and confidence in your own ability, okay, to connect and to receive what you need, okay? So if there's any parts of you that you've disowned, that have said you're unworthy, that have said, you're inadequate, I'm hearing reclaim your holiness, and really allow yourself to drop out of those comparisons this week. So how beautiful is that? Really coming through with that theme of oneness once again from last week. I'm just loving it. So I feel like we'll end there for today. And I want to thank each of you for constantly supporting my work, for supporting my channel on YouTube, for supporting me through services. However it is that you show up, I just want to thank you and express my own gratitude for each of you in that. And thank you so much for listening today. It makes me so happy to know that a lot of you benefit from these readings. And if you do, please let me know. I always love hearing from you. So in the meantime, have a beautiful week, my friends, and we'll see you next week. Bye.